everybody. Good afternoon to all of you. Thank you so much for tuning in to Property Queen TV right here with me. And today we have Amir Kamaruddin, who is the CEO of Utopia Co-Living and a property investor. And right here today, we're talking about what is co-living actually. And I think it's a new and interesting topic to talk about. So right here, ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Amir Kamaruddin.
Oh, Gwen.
Hi, Amir.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Thank you for having me here. And good afternoon, everyone here. Thank you for joining the session. Initially, we wanted to talk about property investment, I remember,
Yes.
plus co-living after that. But I feel that co-living is a huge topic that we should cover on its own. So this session is going to just cover co-living. I think that's fine, right?
Yeah, definitely. So right now, let's just jump into the first question about co-living. So let us know, what is co-living? For those who are watching and we don't know what's co-living, just let us know a little bit more about co-living.
Right. In order for us to understand co-living and the concept of co-living, we need to imagine a fresh graduate. So imagine, Gwen, you are a fresh graduate. You look like a fresh grad. I'm not sure whether you are or not.
Okay.
So if you're a fresh graduate, for example, you're from Penang and suddenly you got a job offer, and that job offer is in KL. And because jobs are hard to find, so you accept the job. So you move from far away from your family, you go to KL. You stay KL because you just started working, so you're gonna stay alone, renting a room most likely.
Okay.
And every single day, your routine is you wake up in the morning, you have breakfast alone, and then you go to work. You have lunch either alone or with your friends. And then during dinner time, once you go back home, either you tapao food or you cook, and then you end up eating alone at home. And then after that, before you go to bed, you just scroll on Instagram and on social media, and then you just go to sleep. And during the weekends, you try to go out with friends, but because you are from Penang and your family are far away, and most of your friends, they have their families around in KL. So most of the time, you will just chill at your house alone, or you just go back, kampong lah, back to Penang. So I think this kind of habit, initially for the first few weeks, is okay for someone. But if you push it to few months, then they will start to feel lonely. And this is just not the case for locals. We have foreigners from overseas coming here, and they are alone. And this loneliness is a big feeling that we want to tackle in a co-living community. So co-living provides not just room rental, but also additional activities. For example, we have fitness activities, movie nights, barbecue, everything, all these community activities are included in the rental that you pay. So you pay not just for the beautiful rooms that you get, but also all these additional perks that you're going to get for free. So no more feeling lonely, no more eating alone. Whenever you feel like you want to chill with friends, you can just go down and chill with friends. They are always there for you. And I want to also highlight another thing. This concept of co-living, is quite new. You're right, Gwen. But I feel that it has gained a lot of traction, especially from the investors. So just want to show you some slides in terms of the investment that has been, the traction that it has been gotten. Can we share the slides?
Yes.
The first slide, yeah. So we can see that there is an increase.
Yes, I can see the slides. Yep.
Okay, so let me just open this slide so I can see it as well. So basically, that's an increase from 2017, 2019, from 0.1 billion to now 3.1 billion US dollar. So feel that investors are really interested in this concept, and people are buying into the ideas because they see that it's not just gonna solve the innate problem of loneliness in this kind of like reality nowadays, but it is also gonna help in terms of tenant retention, because once you have this emotional support for people, tenants are just gonna stay longer there.
Right. Okay, so basically it's a place where we can meet new friends and do more activities without feeling lonely and without having the fear of actually reaching out to strangers.
Correct, absolutely right.
Okay, so you just now mentioned as a fresh grad, I'll be going through all the same thing that other people go through. So basically, co-living, from what you have mentioned earlier, it's for basically anyone lah. Am I right?
Yeah, it's so generally when we mention about co-living, people will say it's for the young people and the single people, single young people. So that's generally it. There's a lot of truth in there. So generally, the market currently is more towards that kind of market, and we can see that the data that supports this is because we can see the marriage age is actually getting older and older, is
Right.
increasing. So if you can see the slides, we can see the chart in terms of marriage age from 1960. I can see the slide for a bit. From 1960 to, we have, yes, correct, until 2000 plus.
Right.
So we can see that.
There's an increase.
Correct. So if you can see in 1960, 1960, we have the average age for marriage for men is around 23, and for female is 20 years old. And in 2018, we can see now it's like 30 years old for male and 28 years old for female. So this drastic increase is really creating a lot of single people out there. So therefore, co-living will target this market segment. And nowadays, this is super great because, back in 1960, we can see that if a female is still not married at the age of like 21, 22, people would think that maybe she's a witch or she have like black magic or something. But nowadays, but nowadays people are so cool about the fact that women are not married yet by the age of 20.
It's okay. Yeah.
Correct. So this is a big game changer that I think is pushing the trend, and why co-living is really in being very, very popular. So we've seen data about marriage. In the next slide, we can also see the other part of it. So more than 50,000 divorces annually we have in Malaysia. So this is the source that we have, and this data is accurate from 2017 up to 2020. So that's a lot of divorce as well. And if you look at the trend, the next slide will show you the trend. Divorces in Malaysia, if you look in the Muslim society, for example, from 2011, we can see the number of divorces is 27,000, and it has increased tremendously in 2018 until 40,000. So this number of increase is very significant, and I feel that this will create more single people, divorcees, that might also be interested in the co-living space. At the same time, it opens up a new segment. For example, we have divorcees or single mothers who have their children. So a co-living in this single mother segment will actually support their children. For example, in the development itself, it would have a kindergarten or a nursery for extended hours to support, to take care of their children. So I feel this is a potential segment to go. And if you move towards the next slides, we can also see the percentage of elderly population. So we have the red line, elderly population. So the red line is actually the CDR, basically is the crude death rate in Malaysia. Basically what it's saying is that the death rate in Malaysia is decreasing now due to the medical advances that we have. And this is supported by the blue line. Sorry, another slide up to that percentage of elderly population.
A bit slow.
Okay.
The line is a bit slow. Yeah, but no worries.
Yeah, so the blue line actually shows the percentage of elderly population in Malaysia. So when we say elderly here, it means people 65 years old and above. So back in 1970, we can see that the elderly population is only 3%. So in 2015, it has increased to 6%. So that's almost double. So in the future, we can see more and more, the population of elderly is basically just going to increase. And in the next slide, we can actually see the life expectancy in Malaysia. In 1970, we have male with life expectancy of like 62 years old. Female average age is 65 years old. 2012, it has increased tremendously, 72 years old for male and female 77. And 2020 now, 75 years old for male and female 79 years old. Now, I'm not sure why female is always like live longer than male. I feel one theory is that, husband is always get nagged by the wife, so it reduces their lifespan significantly, maybe. But yeah.
I think it's because children depend more on the mother lah, to give more love and care. You know, mothers, not we, but in naturally, ladies, we have the mother instinct to want to take care of our baby, even though they are 60 years old.
Understand. And therefore, guy will die first. Okay. So this data shows that the medical advancement, the access to medicine and hospitals really will increase the lifespan of human. And in Malaysia, we are not excluded as well. So bringing this back to co-living, I feel that in the future, this will create another market segment. So co-living for the elderly, for example. And this co-living concept will be equipped with medical facilities, 24 hours nursing to support the elderly. So it's a huge possibility. Currently, the target market is basically the young and the single, but in the future, definitely, I think it will expand.
Okay. So from this, yes, I totally agree that it will expand, because as we grow older, we realize that the trend is totally different from last time. Like last time, maybe you would say, okay, mommy, daddy, come and stay with me lah when we're old. And then at the same time, they can help you to take care of the children. But at the moment, I think most of the people, they like to either they migrate to other countries or they move to bigger cities, and then the parents would choose to live in the smaller cities. Like example, I am from Penang, so good guess. So like my parents will never move to KL. My parents will never move to KL. So it's either like they still stay in KL. But of course, as a daughter, I'll be worried like how are they gonna survive? Can they take care of themselves when they're older? So I think if there is a co-living space where for elderly people there are 24 hours care or even medical attention, yes, definitely I'll ask my parents to stay in a living space. I think it's an idea to take care of the elders.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel that as the elderly, the new society of the elderly, I feel that their income is also going to be increasing. So they have more and more income. And they have actually the purchasing power to do all this, to stay on their own and having their own independence. So we're moving towards that trend now. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I think there's one question that everybody would like to know about co-living, because we are sharing a living space with someone that we do not know. So it brings us to the next question. Do you think co-living is safe? Do you think it is safe?
Right, that's a very important question. That's a good question. But to begin with, we need to understand that the concept of co-living is exactly new. If you've been to a boarding school or you were in a university before, those places really have some sort of co-living concept or elements in there. And the question is, we need to ask ourselves, are boarding school and university safe? And the answer is that yes, if they have certain measures and filtration process. For example, in a boarding school, you wouldn't have a random person from outside coming in, sleeping with the boys in that boarding school. Why? Because there's measures and there's filtration. Only certain people can be in that boarding school within a certain criteria, similar with universities. So I feel that co-living should have really set the measures right. And for us at Utopia Co-Living, we set pre-enrollment, basically before people coming in, and also after the people coming in, post-enrollment. So before people coming in, the pre-enrollment, we usually do a quick background check with their permission. And in our community living, we have this person called community managers. So community managers, their job is to make sure that people stay, the communities over there are happy, they run the event, they run the activities, and also they show the rooms and they bring them for tour for people who are new towards this concept. So So the first phase or layer of filtration to make sure that co-living is safe is that I actually trust my community managers. Like for you, Gwen, for example, if you meet someone who is weird or like creepy, during that conversation, you sort of can feel, right, that they are a little bit creepy.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. Our community managers can actually detect this kind of people, but sometimes you have people who are really amazing actors that they can, like, although they're creepy, they can act like they're not. So if, for example, we have people who are like that and has passed the first filtration, then that's where the second filtration come in, the post enrollment once they are in. So at Utopia, we are really attentive towards the feedback that we receive or complaints by members. So we take actions fast, and we really analyze and take things seriously. And if termination is required, we will proceed with termination in terms of tenancy and membership.
Okay. So do you think in the future you guys will hire psychologists? Because psychologists, people, they know how a person speak, how they react, and how they do what they do to know that person has a problem, right? So do you think in the future you guys will hire someone like that to just, screen through these people?
Definitely. I think that's an amazing idea. And currently our community managers, we are like training them towards learning psychology, learning how to read people, learning how to connect with people and understand and read them, sort of. So I feel that psychology is the next big thing, because in co-living, once you understand the psychology and the different personalities of each individual that's coming in, then you can start to match these people in the same house so they can go along really, really well. So you can do like a really social experiment there and see whether it works or not. So yeah, psychology is a big, big thing in co-living.
Wonderful. And I feel like psychology is something that can help people to understand other people more. Like even for the people who come in and stay there and all that, I think there are certain times that you need a psychology to actually go and ask about their well-being, because I think a person's well-being is really important as well. So it plays a good part as well for co-living. All right. So we have a few questions from our viewers. So let's go into the questions first before we continue with our questions. Okay. So there's a lady. She say her name is Mary Dingle. She says, "Hi, Mr. Amir. I'm a fan. Hee. Here's my question. Like, if we join the co-living and you're talking about the other facilities and activities like playing, eating together, and so on, do we have to pay for the membership for it, or is it included in the rent that we pay? Sorry, quite new for this concept."
No problem. I think that's a perfect question. And the answer to that is yes. So the rental will also include, so we usually include fully furnished rooms. We include the utilities as well, part of it, cleaning, as well as all the activities that we're going to have. So standard activities like, movie nights, we have our little center that we have. We have our co-working space as well that you can access.
Right.
So it all comes for free together as a package in that co-living rental package.
Oh, so everything is included. So it's not that expensive, and I get to meet new people and I can use the facilities.
Yeah, awesome, right?
Yeah, I just pay and I can go and enjoy already, weekly activities. So much fun. So we have another question from Fadila Sufyan. She says, "Hi guys, I have a question. How long you think it'll take until co-living will look as main and faster way to grow your business on the go, especially in the rural areas?"
Again?
Okay, so how long you think it'll take until co-living will look as the main and faster way to grow your business on the go, especially in the rural areas?
Right. How to grow your business using co-living. So basically, co-living now, the co-living concept now is very suitable towards companies rather than individual investors. Because whenever you want to implement co-living, what you need is economies of scale. The reason why I can charge you everything is included in there is because we have a bulk purchase of the whole building, for example, or like a big number of rooms, and So whenever, for example, cleaning, if you have like almost 100 room, cleaning per session cost is significantly reduced. So if you want to expand your business, this is definitely, for property investors, you have normal rental of whole unit, you have a room per head, you also have Airbnb, you have homestay. So this is actually one of the item or the section that is addition towards whatever we have currently in the property market. And for individual investors, you can either go to a company that offers you co-living, so you pay to them, they manage your properties under co-living, or you can actually register, buy a property that has a co-living concept together with it already. So you purchase the property plus the co-living management already.
Okay. She also asked, especially in the rural areas, when will co-living actually go into the rural areas?
I feel that it will actually, we usually think that this will take a long time, but since COVID happened, more and more people are just working remotely. So location is no longer part of the equation in terms of working. So for example, now, like I told you, Gwen, I'm in Cameron Highland right now.
Right.
Because just work from home, and we have that flexibility nowadays. After COVID hits, businesses and companies started to realize that, hey,
Right.
instead of us spending so much on like fancy building, fancy office, might as well we just give them a little bit of money and they can like stay anywhere that they like comfortably. So I feel that the concept of co-living expanding to rural areas is actually going to come sooner than we think it is.
Right, beautifully said. So we have another question from Jasmine Joseph. She says, interesting concept. Was wondering how is the acceptance of co-living is being received in Malaysia as a whole? And what's the difference in terms of elderly living, co-living versus old folks home?
Right. So the first one is how's the acceptance? So far, I think there are huge companies that's coming over as well, and investors from Korea and from other countries investing in co-living in Malaysia. In the UK and in the US, it's already huge billion-dollar industry. In Malaysia, I would say it's still quite new. People are still understanding what the concept is all about. And for Malaysia, it's a little bit different because there's like sensitivity in terms of religion and all that. But we'll talk about that later.
Right.
So it's pretty new in Malaysia. In terms of the elderly care, it's pretty new, but I think the demand is there. For example, the Utopia co-living, we always play around 85% to 100% of occupancy rate. So the demand is definitely there because what you're providing is not just a room rental, but all this hassle-free package, which people, especially young and they are from far away, they really just want a hassle-free life, basically. And talking about the elderly care, I used to run a nursing home, by the way, back in Penang, Lauren Yan. So I understand. Yeah, so I really understand how it is. So the main difference, I would say, is that the accessibility towards medical assistance and medical centers. So, for example, in a normal old folks home, whenever someone gets sick, you need an ambulance to come in and bring them to the clinic. And at that kind of age, time is the essence. You really things are really like fast, and emergencies you can't really wait. And I'm talking about co-living for the elderly is that everything is in one building. So basically, there's like a 24 hours clinic there. There's like a nursing facilities there. So whenever like an elderly person requires medical assistance, he will just can come down and then just go to the clinic or hospital. So it's more of like an integrated development.
Right. Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Suddenly lost you for a bit.
Sorry. Yeah, the line here in Cameron can be quite bad. So yeah.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, at least you're enjoying yourself over there. All right. So, okay. So there is a difference for co-living and an old folks home. Yes. And I totally agree with you that, when old people, they have something of an emergency that's happening, they really need immediate attention, because old people, they are quite fragile, especially if they fall too many times. It's really dangerous. So I think if there is a place where they can get immediate medical attention, then that's great. I'll definitely, like, put myself there. If I'm old already, I really need a place to stay, and
Okay,
I have the money,
I'll
I'll
put a
definitely go
bed
to
next to
co-living.
you so we can
We can talk. Okay. Can be chatty. I can be really chatty. Just don't be annoyed by me. Okay, so let's come back to our full set of questions. So people want to know, like how co-living is beneficial for people, and why people should consider co-living.
Right. I think we need to understand the fact, some statistics just want to share. It's quite disturbing. So according to World Health Organization, there are 246 million people who are having depression. And to put things into perspective, 260 million is 8 times larger than the Malaysian population. So that's a big number, guys. And out of this, we have 800,000 people committing suicide every single year. And based on one of the research, it shows that there are two leading causes why people are committing suicide and having depression. So one of it is called living situation, or like the physical isolation. Usually happens when you stay alone. So you are physically
Right.
isolated from someone else. Secondly is the emotional isolation. This is a bit more tricky, emotional isolation, because this happens whenever, even if you are in a big crowd, you will actually feel alone. You will feel empty, even if you're with someone or talking to someone.
Right.
So it's more of like mental state for the emotional isolation. So what co-living is trying to do is to help with the first category, the living situation, the physical isolation. What we're trying to do is to create an organic community whereby people feel less lonely. And we look at
Lonely.
the history, for example. Historically, it shows that we started off with cavemen, for example. Yeah, like after cavemen, we have like tribes of people.
Right.
After tribe, we have little towns, and then cities, and then major cities. And one common theme of all this evolution is that each of the stages is actually based on community. And we know that this is actually the answer to cure loneliness. So co-living is really, really beneficial in terms of that. So at the core is actually to help people and to reduce depression and ultimately live better.
I totally agree with this, because as we read the news every day, we see that there are more and more people, have more mental issues with themselves, or even, like you said, depression, and then end up committing suicide, right? So I feel like I've mentioned earlier, a psychiatrist would be good in the co-living space to actually talk to them more. Even like you have more friends to talk to. I think that is a wonderful part of co-living that people can actually look forward to. You make more friends, you have more activities to do there. You even can have a membership, and you can do anything you want in a co-living space. So I think it's really beneficial to everyone who is a member at the co-living space.
You want to apply for the psychiatrist position? Seems like suitable.
Not qualified. But yes, maybe I shall go and take another major in psychology, that I can ask you, do you want to hire me? Okay, so let's go into the next question. Now we talk about co-living, we talk about the people, like the co-living space, the activities that we can do. So what about finding a co-living partner? How do we know? Like earlier you mentioned that you will go through the screening process and all that, right? How do you know that if the person is willing to be an active member of the community? Like example, socializing, contribution to household chores and anything?
Yeah, this is a very good question, because commonly people think that, oh, in order for me to go into this co-living community, I need to be extroverted, I need to be loud, I need to be fun. But I feel that for co-living, as much as we want to create a community, what's more important for me personally is to create an organic community. That means that we don't force people and we don't really judge them by who they are. So I feel one way to tackle this is actually for your activities. You need to make sure that you have a really wide range of activities.
Right.
For example, if you have movie nights, barbecue, hiking, so those are more towards going to attract all those extroverted, hiking. The louder people are going to enjoy that.
Right.
But if you have activities like talk by guest speakers, charity events, so I think those are more suitable and it's going to attract more introverted, more quiet people to attend. So I think having a balance in terms of your activities and making sure your activities is dynamic and it keeps on changing. You always ask your tenants, what do you want? So rather than shop sendiri, I just do whatever I feel is best for my tenant. So it's key in running a co-living business. Just want to show you some pictures that we have under Utopia Co-Living. So let's go through the slides a little bit.
Let's have a look. Excited already.
So the first one is the makan session.
Right.
So it's before the MCO. So I would say like most of them are extroverted, except there's one guy in a cap. So he's actually quite introverted. He's quite quiet.
Okay.
But the interesting thing is he actually brought a deck of cards. And around there, he actually plays the deck of cards and even showed some magic tricks to all of us. So that was really awesome. So he's trying to contribute to, even though he's introvert, he's quite quiet, he's trying to contribute and, give some value towards the friendship and the community. So that's our makan session. And then next slide, we also have, during COVID, we could not have any events, obviously. So what we still want to do, lepak session. So we ended up in using technology, using Zoom, and just catch up with each other, check how each other is going. Because for most of them, their family is not from here. You need to understand they are far away. Some of them are foreigners. So I think by providing this platform for them, they will really appreciate what we're giving. So yeah, so that's a picture of the Zoom activities. And the last picture I have, next slide, is during Ramadan. So we're just having a minor celebration.
That's so sweet. Because people cannot travel back. I will be devastated that I cannot go back for Chinese New Year. I feel for everyone who cannot go back for Raya, right? But it's so sweet to have like a small gathering with everyone in the community, to have like a small Ramadan gathering. It's so cute.
Correct. And we were distributing kurma, like little packages of dates.
How thoughtful.
Yeah, so they were really, really happy receiving it. And I always remember one of my friends back in uni, he's single, and I think he's still single now or have a girlfriend, not sure. He said, Amir, the only time I have dates is during Ramadan. so I hope he's not single now currently. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, that is a really nice one.
Yeah. So those are the kind of activities. I feel the activities really should, rather than you filter so much of the criteria of the members of the co-living, you cater more of the activities to cater towards them. So the introverts, the extroverts. Yeah.
Okay, great. So we have a question from Mary. Now Mary asks you, so if I'm not staying in the community co-living, can I pay for the membership to join the community, to join the activities? Or is it just exclusive to the co-living members?
That's a very good question. For me personally, Utopia is moving towards that business model whereby we are not just like a closed community. We are actually opening up to the public as well. So people can come in. But of course, one of the major concerns is we need to make sure that security is okay, everyone is safe. But yeah, we are moving towards that direction whereby people who are not even in the co-living can also join. That's amazing.
Okay, so this brings us to the next question when we talk about security, right? So is there a balance how do you balance out privacy and security in the co-living space?
Well, once you have privacy, I think balancing privacy and security is not very hard, because once you are very private about things, naturally your security will be higher. But the harder task is to balance sharing and security. How do you share the whole, communal living, but at the same time having security? So I feel like physical security plays a key point to begin with. For example, all of our development would have a three-tier security,
Right.
so it's safe. And then in individual rooms, they have private locks, private sections where they can lock their valuable items and all that. And also in our Utopia Center, so our co-living center where people watch movies, have fitness center. So we use fingerprint technology whereby only co-living members can come in.
Okay. So it gives us a sense of actually quite good the security. I'm quite safe. So I can just, feel free to walk around and all that, and I'm still safe.
Correct.
It's really nice. So earlier you mentioned about religion as well, right? So now we're gonna go into the question already. So
Yeah.
does different culture and religion make it easy for co-living?
Now, to be honest, I love diversity. I feel that is a big, big pro. But of course, like any other things, there's pros and cons. So if you look into the disadvantage of the cons, if we open up a co-living in like France or UK or the US, we wouldn't have so much problem in terms of this, because naturally people are more like open-minded, they are more liberal about things. But in Malaysia, we need to be a little bit more careful, because
Right.
there's sensitivity of religion, and we're talking about even if person A and person B have the same religion, one person might have a slightly liberal perspective, and the other person might be a little bit traditional. So, for example,
Right.
one might bring a male friend into the room, and then the other might not feel comfortable. So, those are the things that we need to really make sure that people are comfortable, and that's where the community managers comes in play. So, whenever things get out of hand a little bit, we come and we try to help the system. But just like family also have their own drama. So of course, living in a community, sometimes we would have our own drama as well. But looking at the pro of this culture and religion thing, I feel that I was studying when I was studying in the UK. I still remember, and traveling in the UK was my first time going abroad. And so I was super Malaysian, super Malay during that time, and relaxing and talking to people from different countries, having different perspective, different point of views, understanding their religion, political understanding, and cultures. I think it really opens up your mind a lot towards the world. And I will always remember during Ramadan, during fasting, when I was in the UK, I woke up in the morning to have my breakfast, right, around like 5 a.m. And I was so shocked to see in the kitchen, there were like white people, friends, and then they were like Africans as well. They woke up to like breakfast with, they want to fast together. They want to try to experience the meals. So I think it's good. And bringing that experience to Malaysia, we have our community manager. She's a lovely, lovely person. And she has actually, and she's non-Muslim and she's non-Malaysian. But because she was a community manager, so she made friends with a lot of Malay and Muslims. And during the last Ramadan, she actually fasted, so almost 30 days.
Wow.
It was super amazing. Yeah, such a good experience.
Right. So it's actually really, really nice to know that, there are so many people who are willing to, also understand your culture, understand how you do your things as well. And I think putting religion apart and all that, Malaysia is still a very diverse country. I think everyone is already, used to everyone's culture. Like you may be used to our Chinese New Year culture. We know we love Raya. I love Raya. I love rendang and all that.
Yep.
I also tried fasting and all that. I think it's really cool. And I just want to ask, like, if you guys have any encounter of like having any issues with people in terms of this, like in terms of their religion or their background in your co-living space?
In terms of the religion or in terms of the background, not so much. So what we're trying to do is because we understand the sensitivity, so we split between male rooms and female rooms.
Female rooms, right?
Yeah, male and female. So those units are separate. However, in the future, we are thinking, it depends on the location, for example, and the development itself. The location, for example, is near KLCC, then naturally you would have more international people. So naturally you would have mixed units. So, but in Malaysia, managing the sensitivity means that you would have to have like male only units, female only units, and mixed units. Yeah.
Okay, so usually how many people in a unit?
Usually we have around 4 to 5 people in a unit.
Okay, 4 to 5 in a unit. So okay lah, 4 to 5 people. Actually, you can just like chill with them on a weekend. Also, if you don't go and do other activities, you can chill with them at home. They're very quick and go shopping also.
Yeah, so some of them are really like close brothers. I can feel like we have this three to 4 people who are like now best of friends. They even like during COVID, they like cut each other's hair in the toilet and all that. That's kind of cool.
Okay, so now we talk about everyone, being close brothers and all that, right? So it brings me to the next question, right? So how long do you think it will take to build a connection with the other party in the shared space?
Now, according to research, it takes around 50 hours for us to make someone as a common friend. So someone that you sort of know, so it's 50 hours. It takes 90 hours for you to consider someone as a real friend. It's like, this is my friend. And it takes around 200 hours for you to consider someone as your close friend. So it takes time. And what co-living is doing is it provides you that time. Little by little, slowly, it's okay. But spending those time, I think, is valuable, and it slowly will, upgrade from just common friend, someone that you know, to like friend, to like best of friends. And I also want to highlight the point of this thing called shared pain. So shared, basically, when I was in high school, I managed to I represented Malacca for rugby, and the training was horrible. We ended up we had to stay in one place and train for rugby for 1 whole month every single day without fail. And the training is hardcore. Like you need to run, sprint on a hill, very steep hill, with a 50-kilo person at your back. And then once you reach the top of the hill, you need like 20 push-ups, and then you need to go down back again. Repeat the whole thing.
Very vigorous. Yeah. Very vigorous.
But the thing is, the bond between me and my teammates are so solid. And until now, if we meet each other after so many years not meeting each other, we would not feel awkward at all. So this is called like the shared pain experience. Pain will make you bond better. And if you realize, like, for example, in an office space, sometimes you have this evil boss, and then everyone like really dislike this boss, like really hate the boss. So actually people get together really, really well when they have like common enemy or like shared pain. So that's one example that I have.
Right. Okay. I think that's a really clear explanation. Like if you go through something with that person, like you go through the same pain, or you shed tears, or you share a really good memory with them, then you have a better bond with that person.
And in co-living,
I totally agree.
What we're trying to do is trying to do the fitness. So in fitness, you suffer together. You want to lose weight, you want to be healthy, right? You suffer together. But you also have your growth, whereby you go to talks by guest speakers, you build businesses that you meet other people. So that's togetherness in growth. And also I want to also give back to the society, meaning that we do charity events together. So this experience really creates a strong bond. The concept of shared, of beautiful concept.
Correct, because when you do it alone, you don't feel so motivated and you feel like, I can't really do it myself. But when you do it with someone or you have people to like do it together, you feel motivated, like, okay, I need this. Thank you for supporting me. Let's do it together. You know, people will actually grow. Like, oh, okay, I can actually do it with someone. But doing it alone is a different story, lah.
Yeah.
Okay, so like when we talk about co-living, it's a space where we share with people and we do lots of activities together. So it is also a place where we can rent, right? So what are the how can we compare the cost of co-living as a tenant? Like is it the same as other places where we rent?
Understand. So let's look at, I've done one slide on this. So let's look at the slide. So this slide actually shows a comparison between you staying on your own and you stay in co-living. So in this assumption, if you stay on your own, the cost, you're gonna gonna take a studio, non-furnished or partially furnished studio. That's gonna cost you around 800 ringgit per month. Because it's partially furnished, then you need to add around like 400 ringgit to furnish the place. And then you have also Wi-Fi and utility that you need to pay around 150. And on top of that, you want to go to the gym, and you want to go movie. So that's gym membership you have to pay. An expensive gym membership like Fitness First will cost you around 250 ringgit, but a normal gym will cost you around 150 lah. So I put 150 here as a cost. We also have movie outings. Sometimes people want to go out and watch movies, right? So that's around 100 ringgit lah per month. And because you need to work, so sometimes you need to, because you're renting on your own and there's no co-working facilities there, you need to go out in order for you to work. You need to go out if you want to print. Where do you print, right? Where do you scan and all? So going back and forth to the office will cost you around 300 ringgit. So staying on your own, I will estimate 1,900 ringgit per month. That's the cost. But co-living, actually, basically, you're paying slightly expensive in terms of the unit itself. So for a studio, so that's like 1,000 ringgit rather than 800 ringgit. But it includes furnitures. Basically, it's fully furnished. Utilities and Wi-Fi are all in. We have fitness classes that you can join for free. We have movie nights that you can join with your friends. And basically, we have co-working space included as well in there, so you can work. And these co-living spaces are well equipped with printers, scanners, like proper thing. So those are the cost comparison. And we feel that in the future, the only reason why we can achieve this kind of cost is because of economies of scale. And the bigger the community gets, I think the cheaper the cost will be for each individual.
Okay, so there is a difference, and from your chart we can see that living on our own is more expensive than renting a co-living space, because it takes, maybe if your salary is just 2k, then bye bye 100 ringgit left, what are you gonna do, right? So I think, yes, if you're looking for people who are looking to meet more people and have a more community living, you guys can actually check out co-living. And just understand the concept. Stay with us. We have more questions to ask Amir. Stay with us. Understand the whole concept first, and then maybe change your perception a bit about co-living. Then maybe you can move towards this community, because it's something new, but also something very interesting, especially for young people. So let's go to the next one. Like you mentioned, your units are all fully furnished, right?
Yep.
So what can I bring with me? Example, if I have a pet, can I bring my pet? Can I decorate my room if it's not decorated the way I want it to be? Is there any special set of unspoken rules that I need to keep in mind?
Right. I've actually played around with the idea of having a pet in co-living. I like having one floor of pets. It's a wonderful image, but there's a lot of constraints in there. So, for example, right in front of my house, my neighbor across the street, the family has this dog. The dog is called Rupert. That's the name of the dog. So Rupert is a wonderful dog. It's like very kind, very nice. Once he knows your face, then he will not bark at all. But every single day around 6 p.m., another neighbor will just walk his dog and his dog is female. So whenever it crosses in front of Rupert, that dog, Rupert will just bark like crazy for a good 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay.
And this has really disturbed like the whole areas, the whole neighborhood was like, oh my God, so loud. So one of the concern of having pets is actually noise. And in view that we are working towards with developers and certain developments also have their own strict rules and regulations that we need to align with. So in terms of pets, no, for now. In terms of furnitures, you don't need to bring any furnitures because it's already fully furnished. In terms of decoration, we'll give you the flexibility. If you're a man, for example, and you want to have a big Blackpink poster, K-pop in your room, then go ahead. We won't judge. So you can decorate as much as you want. But I feel I want to highlight in terms of the unspoken rule here. And in terms of unspoken rule, I feel that co-living should have a non-judgmental, open kind of atmosphere. So because ultimately, everyone in this world, no matter how happy they look, and no matter how amazing their Instagram looks like, somehow they are having their own struggles that we don't understand and we don't know, and they don't tell us. So I hope that the unspoken rule of being in a co-living is you just help by being kinder to each other, help by being more forgiving and just being more open to other people.
I think that is what we need in this society, because the society right now that we know is very cold. Every man for themselves. You save yourself, or I save myself, But I think in a co-living space, yes, I think that is another type of thinking that we should accept. Like, we should not be judgmental. We should be understanding. We should, be kind. Go and get to know the person. Let's be friends. Since we are living in the same space, why not let's be friends, right?
Correct.
So I think, yes, this is a very, very, very important mentality that people should take in when you're planning on moving to a co-living space. Wonderful. So I want to know, we've been talking about co-living, right, for about almost an hour right now. I want to know, what is considerably an ultimate goal with co-living for you?
So, first and foremost, I would love, I'm very excited to see co-living to expand in different market segments. So like we mentioned before, we saw the data, and I feel that it's not just going to focus on the young and the singles anymore. It's going to shift slowly but surely towards other market segment as well. So that's very interesting. But my ultimate honest goal is I actually want to reduce the saddening statistics that we see of the 240,000 people having depression, the 800,000 people every single year killing themselves because of depression. So I feel that I really hope that with this co-living situation, we can help to some extent reduce disturbing numbers. Hello?
Hi.
Sorry.
I lost you
sorry.
for a bit. No, it's okay. It's okay. But yes, I got your points earlier.
So yeah, I was talking. Hello?
Yes.
Sorry.
I lost you for a bit again.
Okay.
Yes, please continue.
Okay. So I was saying that the hope that I want in the co-living, so it can be people, share support when they need support. They share happiness whenever they want to create businesses. They have connections for people to know each other and create a successful business, and ultimately maybe create relationships. And who knows, some marriages will happen in this. Hopefully not divorce though. Yeah.
Well, the world is quite big. To meet someone like Chinese, we have this phrase, right? If you and the person are meant to be, right, no matter how far you are in the world, right, you will meet. But if you and the person got, no fate at all, right, even the person living opposite of you, so you won't know them. So who knows,
Wow.
maybe co-living space can be a new place for people to know each other and then hopefully get hitched as well. Then you guys can do a wedding for them in your community. Oh, nice.
Awesome. You are very wise, Gwen. Very wise.
No, just a suggestion. You can also help them to do wedding planning and stuff like that in your community.
Definitely.
Side business for you, side business. So coming back to this, right? Maybe you can tell people who don't know what Utopia is, just let people know about Utopia, and where can they go and if they want to join co-living spaces, like where can they start, and where can they find these places?
Right. So Utopia is a pretty new company. We are less than 1 year old. The most important thing I want to highlight is the spelling of the Utopia is actually YOU Topia. So it's not
Okay.
Utopia normal. So it's you like YouTube kind of spelling, because we
Okay.
want to focus on you, and then we want to create a world of utopia whereby everyone is happy and comfortable. So you can find us Utopia Co-Living, YOUTOPIA, on Facebook, on Instagram. We are there. There are a lot of feedbacks there. We update on our activities. Currently, we are in Damansara. We are going to expand in Damansara, more in Damansara, and also some properties in KL in the future. So if you are thinking of partnering with us, we can just give a call. There's a contact number in that Facebook or Instagram as well. Yeah, we are open.
Wonderful. We have included your link in our comment box. So anyone wants to know what Utopia is, you want to check them out, the link is in our comment box. So we have one question, last one from Mary Dingle. She says, here's another question. If and only if I wanted to move from one co-living community to another co-living community under Utopia, for example, can I do that freely, or I just need to follow the agreement? For example, I don't like my housemate, or I change work so I can move freely within the community.
That has happened actually. So one of the housemate was quite uncomfortable with one of the housemate as well. So they were like tak ngam lah basically.
Okay.
So they highlighted this to us, and we happily shifted them to another unit. So our community managers has done an amazing job in managing all of this shifting, and that's just phase one. Phase two will be different development in different location, whereby everything is under Utopia company. So people can work from people can shift from the development A to development B. And the third phase, we will go to like other countries. We will expand in Southeast Asia. It's like an international passport that you have. So once you
wow.
in Malaysia, you can also be Utopia member in elsewhere.
You got me interested in wanting to sign up already as a community. Even if I don't live there, I want to join your activity so that, even if one day I need to move overseas, and if I join your co-living member, then I can actually go stay there as well.
Come take your psychology test and come join.
Hey, I need to go back to college and then I come and send resume. Okay, so before we end today's session, is there anything else you would like to tell our audience?
Nothing much, but thank you so much, guys, for your time and hearing this. Co-living is definitely quite a new concept in Malaysia, but I hope you guys are, having an open mind, because ultimately we want to help other people. We want to help kill this loneliness feeling, so everyone can sincerely live better for everyone.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for such an interesting session. I think everyone who don't know what co-living is, I think they learned something today, and it's really interesting, and it's something new, and it's interesting, and it's something that everyone wants to know. It could be the new norm next time in the future for a co-living space. So thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you so
ladies
much,
and
Gwen.
gentlemen, that's all for today. Thank you so much, Mr. Amir Kamaruddin, for joining us. And I hope all of you, if you want to know more, the comment box there, we have his link. Go and check out what is Utopia. If you have any friends moving here, they want to have a new space for a new community, just send them Utopia. Okay, thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.